The night air felt cold on Sarah's face. Tears streamed down, warm at first, then chilly as they met the breeze. She held the small bundle close, so very close. This was her baby, her own sweet child, but life had been hard, too hard for a baby, she thought. She had no home to offer, no warm meals, just a heart full of love, and right now that love felt like a heavy stone. She believed this was the only way, the only choice for her precious one to have a chance she couldn't give. She had wrapped him in the softest blanket she owned. It was blue like a summer sky. He was asleep, his tiny face peaceful. He didn't know the storm raging inside his mother. Sarah whispered a promise into the folds of the blanket. A promise to find him again. Someday, somehow. The words caught in her throat, a painful lump. Her chest ached with a hollowness she had never known, leaving a part of herself behind. It felt like her soul was splitting in two. She prayed someone kind would find him, someone good. She found a quiet doorway on a street that wasn't too busy, but not too empty either. She knelt down, her hands trembled as she placed the basket gently on the cool stone. One last look at his tiny, perfect nose, his soft, dark hair. She wanted to memorize every detail. Her feet felt like they were made of lead. Each step away was a torment. The sounds of the city, usually a comfort now, seemed to mock her. Each distant siren, each car horn felt like a judgment. She fought the urge to run back. The emptiness inside her grew with every step she took. It was a vast, cold space where her baby used to be. She clutched her thin coat around herself, but no warmth could reach that chill. All she could do was hope. Hope that a kind soul, a loving heart, would pass by soon. Fear was a bitter taste in her mouth. What if no one found him? What if something happened? She couldn't bear the thought. But she kept walking away from the most precious thing in her life. It was the hardest walk she would ever take. James walked home late that evening. The city lights cast long shadows on the pavement. He was tired from a long day at work. He worked at the bakery, smelling of bread and sugar. He hummed a little tune, then he heard it. A small sound, so faint he almost missed it, like a kitten mewing, or maybe not. He stopped. He listened again. There it was, a tiny cry cutting through the night's quiet hum. It seemed to come from a nearby doorway. He felt a prickle of curiosity. He walked towards the shadowed entrance. His steps were slow. He wasn't sure what he would find. And there it was, a basket neatly placed. He bent down. He peeked inside. His breath caught in his chest. A baby. A real live baby wrapped in a blue blanket. His heart did a funny little skip, so small, so utterly alone in the big city. The baby's eyes fluttered open for a moment, then closed again. James felt a sudden, strong feeling wash over him, a feeling he couldn't quite name. He looked up and down the street. It was empty. No one was around. No hurried footsteps fading into the distance. Just him and this tiny, unexpected bundle. The baby let out another soft whimper. James reached out a hesitant finger and gently touched the baby's cheek. It was so soft. He knew deep in his heart that he couldn't just walk away. He couldn't leave this child here. He made a decision then and there, a big one, a life-changing one. He would take the baby home. He carefully lifted the basket. It wasn't heavy, but it felt like the most important thing he had ever held. He cradled it against his chest. The baby stirred a little, then settled. A warmth spread through James, chasing away the night's chill. He felt a sense of purpose. He would care for this child. He would protect him. He didn't know how. He didn't know why this had happened. But he knew he had to. This little one needed him. And maybe, just maybe, he needed this little one too. Months turned into a year. Sarah searched every single day. She walked the streets. Her heart carried a constant ache, a dull throb of missing. She never stopped hoping. She looked into every passing stroller. She scanned the faces of children in parks. She prayed for a sign, a miracle. She held on to the image of the blue blanket, her only clue. Sometimes despair would creep in, cold and dark. But the memory of her baby's face, the feel of his small warmth kept her going. She had to find him. She just had to. James named the baby Leo, little Leo. He filled James's small apartment with gurgles and giggles. Leo grew quickly. He learned to roll over, then to sit up. James learned how to change diapers, how to warm bottles, how to soothe nighttime cries. He loved Leo with a fierceness that surprised him. He was a good father, a natural father. Sometimes late at night, when Leo was asleep, James would look at him and wonder. He wondered about Leo's mother. He hoped she was okay. He hoped she knew her baby was safe and loved. One sunny afternoon, Sarah was in the park. It was a place she often went. Children's laughter filled the air. Her gaze drifted across the green grass. She saw a man playing with a toddler near the duck pond. The child was laughing, a bright, happy sound. The man lifted the child high, then swung him gently. Sarah's eyes fixed on something, a flash of blue, a familiar shade of blue, a blanket draped over the edge of the stroller. Her heart began to pound like a drum against her ribs. Could it be? After all this time, she felt her feet move before her mind could process it. She walked towards them, her legs unsteady. Her voice was barely a whisper when she finally spoke. "Excuse me," she said, her throat tight. "That blanket, is that—" James looked up from playing with Leo. He saw the woman's face, the hope, the fear, the desperate longing in her eyes. He saw the way she looked at Leo, and then Leo, as if sensing something, turned and cooed, reaching out a tiny hand towards Sarah. A connection sparked, unmistakable. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. Not tears of sorrow this time. These were tears of overwhelming joy, of relief so profound it made her knees weak. James watched her, his own eyes misty. He understood. He saw the deep, unwavering love she had for her son. He felt no anger, no resentment, only a sense of rightness, a feeling that something lost had finally been found. Leo looked from Sarah to James, a confused but happy expression on his little face. He gurgled, sensing the powerful emotions swirling around him. They sat on a park bench and talked for hours. The sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Sarah shared her story, her struggles, her poverty, the impossible choice she had faced, her unending search, her dreams for her son. James listened patiently. He shared his story too. How he had found Leo, how Leo had changed his life, the joy and the challenges, the bond they had formed. He spoke of his love for the little boy who had unexpectedly become his world. He showed her pictures he had taken. They didn't know what the future held, but they knew they wanted to try. For Leo, he deserved to know his mother. He deserved all the love in the world, and for themselves. A new, unexpected path had opened up. It was awkward at first, learning to share Leo, learning about each other. But soon laughter began to fill James's small apartment, which slowly became their home. Sarah cooked meals, James played with Leo. They read bedtime stories together. It felt right, it felt like family. Love grew slowly and steadily like a strong oak tree. A love between Sarah and James, born from a shared love for a child. Their bond with Leo deepened, enriched by the presence of both his parents. They built a life together, a life filled with ordinary days and extraordinary joy. They were a family, an unconventional family, perhaps brought together by a twist of fate. But their roots were strong, and they lived happily, their home filled with the bright, shining love for Leo, the little boy who had brought them all together.